What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to put up a high tensile fence. Now we're going to run a 4-strand fence here. On the other side of the farm it's a 5-strand, but today we're going to be running a 4-strand 200 KSI high tensile fence. So the first and most important thing is you want to have your posts in solid. So today we're actually doing every other post is going to be a timeless post. Now with a timeless fence post, so I'll show you what they look like real quick here. They are fiberglass. They'll last a lifetime. You don't have to paint them. And maybe they're not fiberglass. Maybe they're composite. Anyway, timeless fence post goes right into the ground with a T-post driver. And I mean, it sticks in the ground easy. It's got your holes already pre-drilled. So what we done is we set our corner posts, we set our brace wire. Now we just did this section right here, but what you want to do is you want to have a good corner post, solid as a rock, doesn't move. And then you've got your brace post, your brace wire, got a strainer on there to crank it down, and this pretty much pulls the two together. And on the pulling side, so from the side that we're going to be pulling from, you always want to have your brace wire there at the top. You want to pull the top of this post back to you instead of the opposite. If you were pulling it that way, with this being there and that being there, and this was pulling it that way, you want it to kind of counteract itself. Now we're going to show you how we actually did it on that. I'm going to get my spinning Jenny set up back here. I want it to be about 10-15 feet behind here. I'm going to anchor it down into the ground where it can spin freely, and as he pays it out, he's going to go straight down the fence line, as you can see down there, just as far as you can see, about 250 yards to the next corner post. He's going to be running it inside the insulators. So it'll be a wooden post, the insulator, and then he'll hit the timeless post. And then the next one will be a wooden post, the insulator, and then a timeless post. We're alternating them all the way down. For one, we're going to cut down on our wood expenses, because a wood post nowadays is $15. Absolutely insane. I remember when they're like $8, $9 a piece. But it's $15 for wooden posts. The timeless posts are about $9 to $10 a piece, and you don't have to put insulators on the timeless posts because they're already insulated. You can have a actively hot fence and grab that timeless post and move it around. You will not get shocked. It will not ground out. So that's the good thing about the timeless again. So let's get to work. I'll show you the next step here in just a second. All right, before we get started, look at what I've got. I've done got myself a flat tire. So the good thing about having an air compressor in the back of the truck, you just throw that baby right on there and hold on a second. I don't even reckon I got her plugged up, boys. Yeah, I don't. You know, it works better if you got her plugged into the tank. Hey, big fan. Whoa.
Whoa there.
Up and away.
Two hours later.
But I brought the pancake tank to be able to use the air gun on the fence post. What I gotta hold on, I don't know. Let's find something to do. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, these 4-inch insulators right here. This is what we put on the wooden post. I just take a pair of shears like this. And I gotta pick them up. But this saves you a little bit of money because they don't sell them small like this. Now you just turn 2 into 1, and for your 3 to 4 inch post, all you need is about a 2-inch insulator on it because it's round. We'll shoot it in with a nail gun. We're using staples, 1 1/4 staples, and I'll show you how we do that in just a second. All right, ho. Now put that Jenny on there. Move that wood out of the way. That's better. That's beautiful. On to the next. Oh, I got one more. The wood's a little bit denser, and it's got more wet wood to it. On to the next one, boys. Next one. A new roll of wire here. Now this high tensile wire it needs to be on the Jenny. I'm telling you from experience before you cut it open. He said, let's just cut it open and then set it on there. I said, this thing will explode. It is so tightly on here. For one, it's about a 150-pound roll, maybe more. So you want to get it on the Jenny the best you can, like that. And you want these turned back where they are and tightened up before you undo it. Trust me from experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up, and then we'll get these straps cut off of here, and then I'll share the next step with you guys. All right. All right, so what happened here, I'm gonna give y'all a little instructional, is we ran out of wire from the other roll right here. And so instead of bringing that Jenny down here, starting a new one and then restarting one and carrying it back up there, we ran it in our second mark, as you can see. And once he gets to the end, from here, we ran it to the second, and then when we got to here, we took over the first. You see what I'm saying? And so when he gets to the end, I'm gonna cut it there. I'm gonna splice it there with 2 crimps. I didn't drop it. I'm gonna splice it there with 2 crimps, and then I'm gonna have that wire already started, and then we'll just carry on to the second row. So we got 2 rows going at one time. He just don't know it. He has no idea he's like, why are we doing like this? I'm not understanding. I said, just go, son. I ain't the pro, but I've done it a lot. So much to know that you ain't got to do it the hard way if you just pay a little attention and use your mind. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of thought to put up a fence properly. A lot of people just can't figure it out. It's a mental thing, ain't no doubt. But we're getting it done here, so. Whew, it's getting a little chilly. This front's rolling through. We got rain. It's supposed to rain all day today. I just looked at the forecast. Rain's about an hour out, so hopefully we can get at least this strand done, and then we can work on the back tomorrow if we get rained out. So that's the plan. Keep going. You am. You am not right now. He says, so what are you doing? That beautiful stand of ryegrass, thinner in some spots than the other. This was a field that was completely covered with Kogan grass, and you can see a little bit of Kogan grass right there. The whole field looked like that. A solid stand, a solid mat of Kogan grass. And from here over, this is pretty much the property line. I sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. And now there's just clumps of Kogan grass here and there. Some patches, it's a little thicker than others. So where you see that the ryegrass has been choked out and you don't see a lot of ryegrass, that's where we're battling the Kogan grass. And We also sprayed imazafure, a surfactant with Gly, 3-2-1 method. And we set it back pretty hard, but it came back in some areas, so we're probably, just depending, we may run some prescribed fire through here, at least on that bottom section down there, and then spray it again in the spring, and then plant crabgrass, because I believe crabgrass is like an annual. Let's go check on him. Oh boy, dropped his glove. I wonder he's having complications. Alright, so I cut my secondary wire that ran from the second strand to the first down here, and now I'm gonna put crimps. Okay. A crimp sleeve down this. Now they've got actual sleeves that are about 3 of these long, but I'm going to put 3 crimps on this, about a 1/4 inch apart, and this is what's going to hold the wire together. Now we're going to put tension on it, obviously, as we tighten it, so we got to make sure these things are crimped properly, and that's why we got 3. So the first one, make sure it's perfectly centered, and it is. Boom. That's one. All right, now we ain't got to hold it. We're gonna be relaxed with it. Easier to work with. We'll scoot that one down about a 1/4 inch. Try to get in the center of the crimp. Now this is a 2 to 3 crimp. All right. For a 12.5 gauge or 12 gauge wire. Last one. Alright, so they're about perfectly even as far as the spacing. And now I'm even in between this post and this post. I'm going to be pulling it that way, right? So I don't want to be, or actually I'm going to be cranking it this way. So I'm going to make sure that this, see, it's about halfway. You don't want to have that right up against this hole and you can't get through your insulator. Just a FYI. Come look at that. Right there, if you don't have an actual long sleeve. Now those 3, you can put your truck on that on either side, and I'll show you whenever I crank down on it with that strainer, the amount of tension that's going to hold. So there you go. There's your bottom wire. It's done. Now you take your top one, or your second wire, and carry on. You run it through each one.
Those are the insulators that we just put on.
It's a little wet, ain't it?
I think you got some moles over here, Daniel. The ground was soft right there, real soft.
What happened was when I dished this up, when I burned that Kogan grass off that first year, that last spring when we first got this farm, this past spring, I came here with a disc. You like. Alright, so the first wire here, we're connecting it to the corner post. I went ahead and cut off about 2 feet of that, and then I took a crimp. Alright, I ran the 2 wires together, put the insulator through it. Now my insulator's here. So now if somebody wanted to, by emergency, get into the pasture, they couldn't go around and cut the wire off, the hot wire off. They can come through here and they know that they can stand on this or whatever and climb up this, touch it, and it's not going to burn them up. Alright, but you got to make sure that whenever you connect this, you're not outside of. Just a second ago I wasn't paying attention when I was telling y'all this takes some thinking. That's what I'm talking about. Before, what I've done before by accident is is I've connected that, crimped it all down. When I went to tighten it, I'm on my brace wire. Well, how does that work? This is a hot wire. Boom, it's grounded out. So you've got to really be paying attention. So I'm gonna go inside, do my brace wire, onto the insulator, wire back into the crimp, take my crimper out. Again, I'm gonna double check, make sure it's right, at about the right height. No big deal, because I'm not tightening it up right now. I can adjust the height here in a minute. These crimps are like the exact same size as this jaw opens. So it's got to be right on there, and it doesn't help with this brace wire in my way. Boom, right there. Crank down on it. Boom, she's crimped. And that one's done. This wire is right there on the end. All right, now so we're on the other side of the fence. This is the corner brace here where we're gonna actually put the gate, and this is where we're gonna be running our tensioners, our strainers, and pulling the tension on the fence to tighten it up. So I'm gonna show you how we set that up. You tried to drive the gator over there and park it 20 minutes ago. I said at 12:50, it ain't lunchtime. Grab the bucket. We're arguing about how cold you are and how I'm hungry.
I'm hungry and I'm cold.
Well, let's get to work and it'll be over quicker.
I'm hungry and cold.
All right. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut the end that goes into the strainer to actually tighten it. To figure out what's what first of all. So this will be the bottom wire. The other one will be the top. Alright, so about right in here works for me. Go ahead and cut that. And then to eventually miss the first insulator, I'm going to go through the first insulator. Because again, this is the lower wire. Strainer will be right in here somewhere. So let me go ahead and cut the corner piece. I always take more than I need. You don't want to be too short and then get it all crimped on there, wasting 5 minutes, and you're like, dang it, I'm too short. So guess what? I know I'm gonna need at least 3 feet. I'm gonna take about 4. Watch your eyes. I got 4 feet, maybe 4.5. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna do this one just a little bit different. I'm gonna put it on one of these black tube insulators and I'm gonna go around the pole. It's personal preference. I didn't do that on that side, but over there I'm putting the gate. So whenever I come around with the chain, if I was having the gate opening over here and it accidentally hit this wire, and you feel it all the way down your body on that hot cyclops running through it.
At least
So
you'll be
over there-
warm.
Huh?
Said at least you'll be warm.
So over there I did metal, dead metal to insulator to a hot. Over here it's just going to be tube insulator on the wire going right around. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. First I'm going to take one of them. Then I'm going to put this on here. Alright. I'm going to say okay. Right about here. And then to be able to get this into my crimp, it won't go like that. So I put a little bend on there. I always put a little bend. It makes it just, a little bit easier. Can you guys see that, or are you too far away? Can you see what I'm doing? He's just cold, boys. Tell him he gonna make it. Y'all drop a comment below. Let him know if you think he's gonna make it. I don't know if he's gonna make it because he's complaining a little bit, but I think he's gonna make it. Get your crimper. Come over here. Again, watch your eyeballs. Slide your crimper in there. Oh. Get that all in there. Ooh. man, to get that crimp. Is that sleet?
I don't know.
Boys, it's sleeting.
What's sleet?
Raining and sleeting. Freezing.
What's sleet?
Freezing. It's gonna snow. Oh, my bad. Cameraman ain't gonna make the cut. Grab a strainer for the other side. Always put your crimp on first. If I can find a crimp, that'd be nice. Now I'm getting rained on and I'm wet. Hold on a second. And I'm cold. Cold and rainy.
Cold, wet, hungry.
I'm getting rained on and I'm wet. All right, look. We're just gonna do this one. Show them that. They don't care how ugly I am. Boom, that goes in there. I'll bend it down. And then I'm gonna put another bend on it so I can get it inside of my crimp sleeve or whatever you call this thing. And then I'm gonna take the crimper, bear down on that. Boom. Takes a full-grown man to get that down here, I guess. Now I'm gonna take this. Remember, you need to go inside of the brace wire because you don't want this to be grounding you out. Let's see how much I need to pull out. I got a lot of extra slack. Grab that pliers over there. You filming?
Yep.
Boom. I'm gonna cut it right there. Make sure I'm in the middle. I probably could have cut a little bit more, and I think I am. Now I like to put a little bend, just a little hook right there. And that little hook is going to help it to get in that hole right there. So when I'm turning it to crank it, it's already in there locked in and it's not going to pull out. So this was my survey line here. We're dead center in the middle of that. Let's get it out of there. So I'm going to start tightening this up, and then I'm going to take this. Y'all watching? Are they watching?
Yeah.
Got too much slack. Now this 12 gauge wire, it's pretty thick and heavy duty. So it's going to take a little bit of cranking and maneuvering. But once you get it in there and you get the hang of it, it'll start going a little bit quicker. You see how much slack I got in it. That's why I cut a bunch out. And I'm pulling it away because I don't want it to pile up on each other. I want it to spread out on the spool. All right, now it's getting kind of tight. I'm gonna back off of it. I'm gonna crank it from this side. Now we're gonna really get it good and tight. First, we want to measure and make sure we're not too high, not too low. That right there is where we need to be. High enough so the turkeys can get in and out, but we don't want a calf to be able to crawl under it. On the other side, I went 9 inches off, and that grass is growing up 12, 14 inches. And as long as you got a hot fence, it's hitting it and it's nuking it and it's keeping the moisture out of it. But if you cut that fence off just for a day or two, and it gives all those little millions of ground rods, the grass, puts the moisture back up in it, and start touching that, it's gonna ground your fence out. So you gotta keep the grass off of it. On this one, I said, you know what? We got a lot of wild turkeys over here. I wanna be able to let them in the pasture without getting trapped and zapped, because believe me, they get hit too. That boys right there is what you're looking for. I'm gonna get a little tighter. I'm gonna go maybe 3 more clicks. And we're going to, that was 2, 3, and 4. All right, so that's the first one up. Same day, an hour and a half later. I had to go home and deal with a calf that was down. Changed jackets, I got all nasty. Brentley's on the gator. We're working on our third wire. After this one, we'll run one more, and we should be good. So we are on the last wire, the top wire. Brentley's excited because he's ready to go home, but what he doesn't know is we got to go to the other farm and feed hay.
Even better.
He said even better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this last strainer on here. I don't know how much, I can't remember how much I've showed you guys of this, but let me get this tube insulator. All right, and so for this, you're gonna need a tube insulator, my pliers, if I can find them. I've gathered up so much stuff in this bucket that I don't even know. Where'd my dad burn pliers go? Right there? See, I'm losing my mind. It's been a cold, rainy day. We haven't filmed everything just because it's been raining on and off, and it's just been one of them days. But we're gonna get this last little bit tied in. All right, so remember, you're gonna need 2 crimps for this. First one goes in here. And dad burn it, what do you know? My front tire, I can hear it. I've got 2 flats happening right now.
Ooh, wow.
It's gone down quite a bit before we leave. We're gonna have to air it up. I'll get that fixed tomorrow. All right, going around. Crimp goes on. Pull the slack out, get it a little tighter. Push that one down a little lower than I wanted it. Watch your eye.
Yeah, that one's a little low. I hope you tighten that one up.
That's why I usually put a staple in there. It's a lot easier to go up when you got this insulator. All right, last one. Crimp goes on, strainer goes on, wire in the crimp. Remind me before we leave, we need to drain that hose over there. It's got water in it. Darren asked me to drain that hose because it's gonna freeze.
Can I?
Yeah. Real quick before we leave, we'll do it. There's that. Last part. Back the truck, trash.
I didn't miss this time.
Good job. Almost done. Now this runs about 660 feet. And as I tighten the top, the bottoms are going to get looser because it's pulling it together just slightly. And it takes a little bit to get it where you want it. That's pretty tight right there. I like that. That one ain't too bad. Those are a little bit looser. I'm gonna crank this one more time. I'll crank this one more time. This one twice. And this one probably 2 times or maybe 3. There it is. That's how you do it.
Huh?
That's it.
Wherever that other glove is, put that other glove in there.
All right, so now you guys know how to run a high tensile, 200 KSI high tensile, smooth wire fence. You got your braces, you got your brace wire, everything's running in between. Okay, everything's running in between. As you can see, it's all off of the brace wire. Now the only one, like this one, connects here. So I put on a little wire tie. Right there. And this is just an insulator, so this doesn't arc to there. That's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. We did that side, and 600 and I think it's 620 feet or 660. Good day. Tomorrow we'll finish this up and turn the cows out probably tomorrow evening.